Hey, beautiful soul, beautiful sunshine, here with the R Holistic Healer. I am back with another prophetic message. This is my third time trying to record this video. So I just want to make you guys aware, because this is an important message that, sometimes when you have a message, sometimes things like that happen just to test you. But anyway, with all that being said, if you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And if you're returning, I just want to say welcome back. And keep in mind, if you're new, that these energies could be happening to you right now, presently, or these energies could be, you could be experiencing them currently, or you could be experiencing them within a week or two, or within a month, which is considered like near future. But anyway, with all that being said, or this is also a situation of some of you could be reminiscing back on certain situations where a certain individual was trying to warn you of other people who are hidden enemies that, some of you weren't aware about. But either now you're seeing it, or now you're about to start experiencing exactly what they was trying to tell you, that you didn't believe them, or you're seeing now that how they were telling the truth and you didn't believe them at the time. But anyway, with all that being said, let me get right to the message. I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible, because I believe that the last message, I'm sorry y'all, my dog's out. She wanted to try to throw up at one time. It was trash. Anyway, I'm sorry. But anyway, with all that being said, let me get right into the message. So the dream that came through this morning it came in a form of, it was myself, as well as I had a spouse in the dream. And in the dream, my spouse was, okay, the two of us were in robes, and I take it that we were both about to go take a bath. And but apparently there was a little girl who had came, I don't know why I didn't even see this individual. I don't even know why I'm saying little girl. Anyway, a kid had went past the door, and I remember just kind of seeing him kind of just swoop past the door. And I remember him cracking the screen door and saying something to, I guess, the little girl. And I can't remember if it was something like stay off the grass or something like that. But anyway, with all that being said, it just so happened, here's where the manipulation come in. It just so happened that the moment that he opened up the door, it just so happened that the next door neighbor came out the exact same time that he came to the door. And need I remind you, I want to remind you guys of, I did a video on this too, to be careful who you eat from, be careful who you take food from, and be careful who you take gifts from, okay? Because some of you are in a situation of trying to discern who to believe, who not to believe. Right now, there's a lot of hidden enemies that some of you don't know about, and these are people that are close to you. But I think you looked at a lot of your enemies as being as people who you're keeping away from you, when it's really the people who are close to you. But anyway, with all that being said, and so in the dream, just as he opened up the door to say something to a little girl, the neighbor had came out. He was carrying two of those little plastic containers. You know how you go to like restaurants, and sometimes they have the little rectangle shape, they have the rectangle shape containers that's shaped like this, with the clear plastic tops on it. I know sometimes the Chinese people, the Chinese food, excuse me, not Chinese people, the Chinese food, when we go get Chinese food, they're in the round bowls with the clear tops. But this was a rectangle shaped bowl with the clear top on it. He had two of them in his hand. So they let me know that he was about to feed him some sort of manipulation. So the moment that he was carrying those two containers out of his house, and he didn't say out loud, but I knew what he was thinking telepathically. I kind of heard him say, can I speak to you for a minute? So he kind of pulled him off to the side, and he wasn't in my presence, because if he was in my presence, I would have said something. And then not only that, but so he got him to come out of the house and kind of go without a sight. He got him to come out of the house and kind of go without of my eyesight, so I couldn't see him. But then the moment that I saw him coming back towards the house and close to the front door where the screen door was open, he had those two plastic containers in his hand that the neighbor had in his hand. So with all that being said, I had already knew what was taking place. He didn't know what was taking place. I saw that he was, one, trying to manipulate him through food or, you know, something of that nature, but I knew that the containers were of no good. It had some sort of witchcraft around it, and it had some sort of negative intention that was set on it, that he was trying to feed my spouse in a dream. But anyway, with all that being said, also, when he came into the house, let me just show you how it was. He was fine before he went out the house. And this is where you got to pay attention. He was fine before he went out the house. Need I remind you, there was some bath water running, because I guess it was as if the two of us was about to go take a bath. But the moment he comes back in the house, we were good when he was in the house. But when he came back in the house with the 2 plastic containers, that's when the manipulation started, because the first thing he started to do was he started to kind of like get angry at me, and we were kind of clashing. I was like, well, you know, I was like, don't, because I had basically told him, don't bring that in here. And the reason why I told him don't bring it in here is because I knew what was taking place, and he didn't understand what was taking place spiritually. And he took offense to it, as, I don't know, maybe as if I was telling him what to do. Wasn't I was telling him what to do. It was more so of trying to protect him. But he took it as if I was trying to tell him what to do. But anyway, again, so once he came into the house with the 2 containers, he basically started kind of lashing out at me, catching an attitude with me, and we both started kind of clashing with each other and kind of arguing with each other. And then once that took place, I had basically told him, okay. Once that had happened, I basically told him, I basically said out loud, but first of all, let me explain this part. So you know how when you go to a hotel and you have 2 doors that are joint together, you know, where you can walk from one room to the other one without having to go outside the room. They conjoint doors where you can, you know, like if you're having a hotel party, you can go from one room to the other, you know, just like, you know, through the walls or whatever. Not through the walls, but through that door that they have, you know, leading to the other room without going outside the room. So all of a sudden, 3 things happened. He came back in the house with the 2 containers. And then he started arguing with me. And because he did that, now need I remind you, before he left the house, there was absolutely no doors open but the front door with the screen. You know, the front door was wide open, but we have a screen door in the dream that, you know, you can see out through. So that was open, but it wasn't open. But it wasn't, so that was letting me know that when the individual came back into the house with the 2 containers from the next door neighbor, basically that was letting me know that, because when I looked at the wall, all of a sudden there was a door there that wasn't there before once he came back in. That lets me know that he was opening up a portal to allow those people to manipulate him spiritually somehow, by putting his trust within them. So that left a gateway for them to come in basically and take advantage of him. So I got upset about it in the dream, and I basically told him, I said, I am so sick and tired of those neighbors. I was like, I'm so sick and tired of their neighbors. And I named actually 4 of them specifically out by names. I said that each individual names in the dream. I'm not going to say in the video, but anyway, in the dream, I said that there are 4 names in the dream. And I was like, I'm so sick and tired of them trying to manipulate, and sick and tired of each and every one of them is what I said in the dream. And then all of a sudden, the moment that I said that, so the neighbor came over, and she came over as if she was calm, cool, and collect. Pay attention. Calm, cool, and collect. Need I remind you, I was the emotional one, meaning like I felt some type of way because I saw someone close to me being manipulated, so that pissed me off in a dream. But when this other individual walked from their house over to mine with that little conjoint doors, like I said, that they have at the hotels, you know, when they have hotel parties, you go from one room to the next. When that door was open and she heard me say that, she walked through the door so calm, cool, and collect. And she had a little cup of, which is so funny, thank you, Spirit, because I didn't even catch this earlier. She came through the door with like a cup of coffee. For some reason, I knew she was drinking a cup of coffee. And if you think back on the movie Get Out, when she was stirring that little, tea with the spoon. She didn't have no spoon, but nevertheless, just a little tea. It's, to me, I represent, I guess, little teacups dealing with drama somehow. Um, I guess I should have looked that up. But anyway, so to me, just with the simple fact of her having a teacup in her hand and coming over there so calm, cool, and collect, that was just letting me know, like, it was so easy to make it seem like in the dream I was the problem when she really was the problem. But she tried to dress it up as if she was a calm one. No, no, no. Really? That's not me. That's her. Look, she's the one that's emotional. So with all that being said, y'all, I just want to make y'all aware of, for some of those who feel like I'm sure some of you been dealing with people who seem like they have been calm, cool, and collect, where other people who have been emotional, and maybe you feeling like that the other people who were emotional, like they was the one with the issue, when it really wasn't them. It was the other people who was kind of keeping it calm, cool, and collect, was the ones who was really manipulating behind the scene. So again, some of you are either recognizing that now, or some of you are dealing with or about to deal with a situation that you're going to start to see those individuals who you felt like you really trusted, and you felt like, oh, this is my dog, they wouldn't do that, and they wouldn't do that, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. Oh, no, that ain't real. If you're about to experience this, or if you're just reminiscing on it, some of you got your wake-up call. But if some of you are about to experience this, keep in mind, God has allowed us to go through certain things just so we know that everyone is not our friend. And that we should not accept any and everything from everyone, especially if people are considered to be like low frequency and unhealthy people. I'm not going to get into a whole spiel about that, but I just wanted to basically make you guys aware of that, and just wanted to remind you, again, be careful who you take items from, because yes, people can set prayer intentions, chant, they can do all these things with a single idol just by setting the intention. And I'm not sitting here telling you this to go and do the same thing that's being done, because there is a price to pay. And trust me, there is a price to pay if you start to dibble and dab and try to manipulate somebody else against their free will. There will be consequences to pay. That's all I can tell you. But with all that being said, I also want to let you guys know I'm only sharing this information because I too myself had to experience this. It wasn't pretty when I had to go through it. It actually frustrated the heck out of me, because I was like, what is going on? Because one thing I'll say is, I wasn't taught. One thing I realized is you have to be mindful of the people that you interact with, as well as places that you go, because I mean spirituality, I'm trying to keep it lighthearted, but spirituality is, all I'm saying is, if you just put your faith and your trust truly within God, God will see to it that wherever it is you go, He will lead you, He will guide you, He will tell you, don't go here, don't go there, turn right here, turn right there, turn around, move out the way. He will definitely have your back. Let me just say that, because I know sometimes you have to, at one point in time I became so frustrated with, I was like, oh my God, like, why is it these people are doing this? And, I don't know about this stuff, like, but He was spiritually training me on what to be mindful of, so I can let my kids know, to protect yourself spiritually, so that people don't try to, open up portals by giving you things, because there was a lot of things that we had to get rid of, that people had even given us from time ago. And one thing I think about is, I know that there was one point in time where there was this particular people who would always try to bring us food. And this is prior to my spiritual journey. And I started feeling a certain type of way about that at one point, because I felt like this person was kind of manipulating at the same time. But let me just say that being on this journey has allowed me to remind myself to not to eat from any and everyone, and not to accept gifts from any and everyone, especially those who I know are kind of operating at lower frequency. At one point, I was accepting gifts, from certain people, and I didn't realize that frequency definitely played in part. And when I say frequency, I'm talking about people who are who are operating at, you know, because manipulating people, that's a low vibrational energy, you know. And if you are of low vibrational energy and you feel like somebody is doing witchcraft against you, and you feel like it's working, and you like, dang, well, why can't I protect myself? You can't protect yourself because the two of y'all are on the same frequency. It's just like a radio station. If you change the frequency, meaning change what you do and allow yourself to elevate. And when I say elevate, I'm not saying that one is better than the other, because we all children of God. It's just that some of us are going through different experiences, and if you choose to stay there in that experience, that's on you. But some of us are choosing to evolve and do the healing work that's needed so that we don't have to experience certain things. You know, that's the only way that I can tell you that you come from out of that frequency of being on the same energy frequency of dealing with someone with witchcraft, opposed to, you know, allowing yourself to evolve spiritually, do the healing work, and, you know, raise your vibrations and get out in nature. That's a must if you choose to. You know, well, guess what? Well, if you're up here, you no longer resonates with this, meaning that whatever they try to do, they can no longer touch you. Why? Because you're not on the same frequency. So, yes, I hope that was helpful. I'm trying to describe it the best way I can. But anyway, with all that being said, I'm about to go, and just keep in mind, just keep in mind, protect yourself spiritually. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. If you choose to, it's not an easy task. Well, I'm not gonna say it's hard, but you know, if you get in a routine of doing it, you'll start to see results. But you got to be consistent with it. You can't just go like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this today. And I know sometimes there may be some times where you feel like, oh my God, no. You got to be consistent with it. And you know, you can't let your guards down, because the moment you let your guards down, it's almost like you allow that, you know, that gateway to open up for anyone to come in. But it's so important to protect your energy and protect yourself spiritually, but do it in a way of, you know, of not hatred, but do it in a way of love and light. You know, you can say like, I choose to, in love and light, I choose to disconnect my energy or not associate myself with such and such, and you know, so on and so on. That's just one of the things that I do. But if you guys are interested, you can go over to Patreon. I did put up a video yesterday, and it was just kind of showing you one example of how you can protect yourself spiritually or whatever. There are other things that I do, but that's not what we're talking about here. I'm just basically just trying to remind you guys of what you need to do. But anyway, with all that being said, I got stuff I have to do, so I just basically wanted to get this message to you. I honestly didn't even think a message was going to come through this morning, but it caught me off guard. So I wanted to get it to you as soon as possible. So now I'm getting ready to go do what I need to do, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day, and enjoy this warm weather. And keep in mind to just remember, like, it's you got to remember to find a balance between love and light. Not so much as love and light, but it's a balance between of it's a balancing act with protecting yourself spiritually as well as being kind to others. You know, you can be, and I'm not saying that, because you will be tested. You will be tested. I'm sorry, real quick. You will be tested. These individuals who you may have had to deal with them trying to test you, you know, or manipulate you or throw witchcraft your way, they will, I mean, if you ever get to a point that, you know, you evolve to the point that, you know, you have God giving you messages and showing you who to avoid or whatever the case may be, or just listening to your intuition. That's so important and so key, you know, to get in tune with your intuition just by having quiet time and tuning out the noise, you know, tuning out people, you know, because one thing I've learned is there will be people in your path who will try to keep you off of your path. And sometimes God have a higher path for you, and sometimes there are roadblocks there who try to keep you off of your path, and so that you don't know who you are spiritually, because some of you are very powerful individuals and you don't even know it. But once you start to tap into that energy, and I don't mean from an egotistical type way, I'm just mean like you understand who you are, and can't nobody come along and try to manipulate you now, you will understand that. So, but keep in mind, because you will have some people who maybe God may have shown you, who either maybe God has shown you, or maybe you have learned that they were not for your highest good. But those people may try to come back, or they may come up in your dreams and try to test you spiritually. That's where the spiritual protection comes in at. So, you know, just keep at it and keep being consistent with it. Keep protecting yourself. Yeah, it's work. It's work. As I said over on Patreon yesterday, I left a message over there basically just saying that I think I left it on YouTube too yesterday, because I know some people will probably like, well, why you send a message over to Patreon? Because one thing I want you to understand is God given me a message some time ago, and he told me to keep some things sacred. I felt like that was a situation that was sacred, and I needed to put it over on Patreon. And the reason why I say that is because if we go out here, get our hair, nails, and, you know, buy shoes, bags, and so on and so on, we invest into, you know, material possession, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, well, guess what? It shouldn't have to be that people who are spiritual should be giving away everything for free, because the truth of the matter is, on my spiritual journey, I had to pay for some things in order to learn who I am. And one of the reasons why I say that is I had to get Reiki healings done. I had to go and you know, there's things like past life regressions. You know, there are things like shamanic healings. You know, there's things like Isawa. What is it? Isawa? I'm sorry, I'm gonna jack that up. Not intentionally, but you know, there's so many things that you can do spiritually to cleanse your energy from other people, so that way they don't have spiritual hooks in you, because some of you been hanging around people so long that they got spiritual hooks in you. So you think that sometimes your thoughts aren't necessarily your thoughts, but you're picking up on their thoughts. As I said before, some of you, in another video, some of you are empaths and don't even realize that you're empaths, meaning that you pick up on other people's energy. So you think your thoughts, you think all of your thoughts are your thoughts, but 9 times out of 10, some of the things that you think is usually other people's thoughts, or you pick up on the collective's thoughts. And yes, that does exist. So with all that being said, I think that is it. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Have a beautiful day. I'm wishing y'all much love, much light, and peace and blessings. Bye.